I'm living in the moment.
Okay.
This is the moment. This is our moment. We're gonna seize it.
To start recording.
Seize the moment, Thomas. Seize your moment. Go.
Promise I'm trying.
Go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bearly Bearable Besties. I'm Thomas.
I'm Bianca.
So,
we're back.
We are back.
We are back.
It's been we haven't waited that long, right?
No, but I feel like it's been a while.
We've been inconsistent.
Yeah,
sure.
but we did tell them that we were going to be a little inconsistent this season.
Well, yeah, we're definitely going to be inconsistent. Well, also, I mean, you were sick.
I was dead.
Yeah, you were dying.
Died.
You were dying. You were in the hospital for a little bit. So
yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, but we don't have to get into that necessarily.
Nah.
But that tends.
I know all of our fans were so worried about me.
You know what we should do? You should next time you go to the hospital, you should just like when you're when they give you not robe, what's it called?
The gown?
Yeah, the gown or whatever.
Yeah.
You just like post a picture on the Bearly Bearable Besties, Bearly Bearable Besties on Instagram, Instagram post,
yeah,
or a story, and just say I'm fine.
Don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, don't want to talk about it, but I'm fine.
Yeah, we finally get followers.
We finally get followers because like, we got to support this poor girl.
Yeah.
In her podcast.
Yeah.
And they're like, who's this guy?
Okay, tomorrow when I go back to the doctor, I'll post. I'll post from the hospital bed.
Perfect. That's great.
Fun fact, I'm sorry.
Taking one for the team.
I'm just now thinking about it. When I was a kid, I could not say the word hospital.
What would you say?
Hostable. Every time. And still, whenever I'm about to say it, I hear it in my head before I say it. I say it right.
You have to correct yourself, right?
Yeah. I want to say hostable.
I think that picked up, but boom. All right. I put my water bottle on the same table that the microphone's on.
All right. Let's. What are we doing today,
okay,
Thomas?
So.
Woof, we're here.
We are, as the kids say, music lovers.
Ah.
You know, no one else says that. Just the kids. The kids.
The kids.
so
these two.
Didn't they see the other one?
Yeah, probably.
But we like music. And now that sort of, I guess COVID's sort of winding down, and people are it's becoming safer to mass organize. What is the to organize in like a big group of people. I would say, I won't say fairly recently. I'd say in November I went to a concert in November, which had been the first time I'd been to a concert in probably 3 years. Mm-hmm. So we were actually going to talk about that, in November when it happened, but we sort of just forgot about it.
We had a different topic. And
some other things popped up, and life got crazy. You know how it is. And so
life does its thing sometimes.
Yeah. So we never ended up talking about it, but I was like, I want to talk about the concert I went to and I thought maybe we could take this time to talk about some of the concerts we've been to. Yeah. Because I have some weird stories from concerts. You have some weird stories from concerts. The fans have some weird stories from concerts.
To be fair, we didn't quite ask them for stories. We just asked them.
But we can make up stories.
Okay, we'll make up stories for the fans.
Right. But so we were trying to think. So what we did is we went on Instagram and we asked them what's the best concert they've ever been to, what's the worst concert they've ever been to. So I think we could start with should we start with the worst or the best?
Let's start on a high note.
Let's start on the best?
Yeah,
okay.
Let's go down as we go.
Absolutely. So the best concerts they've ever been to. So Bianca, what's the best concert you've ever been to?
Okay.
Because you've been to more than I have. You've been to a lot of big ones.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of big concerts, and I've had a lot of really cool, really special, fun experiences. And so deciding which one is my favorite is really, really hard.
Right.
One of my favorites that I want to mention first is the a cappella group Straight No Chaser. I see them every year. Okay. And that's a tradition. So
that is cool.
So that's really cool. Yeah, I've seen them probably 8 times, but I'm not super sure.
All right.
Maybe 7 or 8 times. But
Straight No Chaser, this is your biggest fan here.
I do love you, Straight No Chaser, and I will send you this video. We're gonna record this part.
Well, here's the thing. We'll
tag all of the bands.
Not all of them. Let's not get annoying.
Okay.
We'll just tag Straight No Chaser, and then we'll tag the band that's on my shirt that we'll talk about.
All right. Well, I got a band on my shirt too.
We'll tag them too. So we'll tag 3. And Jack Black. We have to tag Jack
Always.
Black in every single post we ever do ever.
Agreed. But yeah, so Straight No Chaser is one of my favorites. They're from Indiana. It's where I'm from, and so they're hometown heroes, love them. But I think my
Slim
favorite,
pickings in Indiana.
I think my favoriteest concert that I've been to is probably I went to see Bruno Mars.
That's a good one.
When I lived in Hawaii, and he's from Hawaii,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was his like coming home like event, and it was a really big deal. The whole island was excited. It was all anyone talked about for a while.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was just so special, and it was really cool because it was at Aloha Stadium, and Aloha Stadium like opens up so that it's Hawaii.
I don't think the Aloha Stadium's open anymore, is it? Is that the
not
one
anymore?
that they tore down?
But, yeah, I think so. But so the roof was not there, and so on like the big beats of the music, they shot fireworks on the beats. It was so cool.
We went to that baseball game where they played like, was it a Pitbull song, and they kept shooting the fireworks on beat. Oh, it wasn't Pitbull, but I can't remember who it was.
But yes.
But yeah, okay, so it's like that, and that's fun.
It was awesome, and it would come with Bruno Mars like doing a dance move, and then fireworks would come off of him. You're like, that's so cool.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then I sobbed. I was like up high in the rafters. The whole thing was I was supposed to go home for Thanksgiving, and then life happened, as life does, and I couldn't go home, and so instead I ended up going to a Bruno Mars concert.
Fair trade.
Yeah, it worked out. It worked out. But he gave a speech about how when he was a kid, he saw Michael Jackson on the same stage that he's now standing on. And I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan. I was sobbing. Absolutely sobbing in the stage. I have a whole thing I have this whole speech on video. I watch it all the time because it just like, it was a lot. And one of the things he was like, it's like, I just want you to know, so even if you think your voice is little, you can be big or whatever. And I was like, I can! I'm gonna make it!
Yeah, I'm gonna be on Aloha Stadium, playing at Aloha Stadium.
Just you and Michael.
Yeah, dude, playing on the remains of Aloha Stadium.
Oh, and also...
That'd be cool. When you get famous, though, we'll record your music video on where Aloha Stadium was.
Oh, awesome.
I'm assuming, for some reason in my mind, the rubble is just there. They didn't build anything on top of it. This is just like a pile of what used to be Aloha Stadium. Doing. I wouldn't think they put a stadium on top of it because the stadium had issues with where it was.
Yeah.
Because it like started rusting out, didn't it? Because of the salt water.
Yeah. But also Common Kings opened for them and they were great too. And
I thought you were saying that's why Aloha Stadium had to shut down.
No, sorry. And the Green 808, but I don't know. But I liked their music when they performed. But Common Kings were really good.
Well, yeah. So if I I don't have a wish list for bands I'd like to see live necessarily. I have some that like that'd be cool, but like most of them are sort of like smaller punk bands in like New Jersey, so I'm probably I'm not going to be able to see them. I'm not going to drive to New Jersey to watch a band that their entry ticket's like $5 in a basement. You know
why not?
Because it's New Jersey, Bianca.
I'll drive.
Okay.
I'll get my license just to drive you around to concerts in New Jersey.
Exactly. If I had to pick one that I'd be like, I want to see live, it'd be Bruno Mars. Yeah. I would love to see Bruno Mars live.
Yeah.
So I think the best concert I've ever been to was the first concert I had ever been to alone.
Ooh.
So it was a I don't know how to describe. I guess let's say hard rock heavy metal band called Coheed and Cambria, and it was a co-headliner. It was Coheed and Cambria and Taking Back Sunday, and then opening for them is The Story So Far. So The Story So Far and Taking Back Sunday are like huge punk legends.
I really like The Story So Far as a band name. That's really cool. That's a cool band.
They were fun. I didn't know any of their songs, but like they were fun.
Yeah. Those are I like those concerts where you don't know any of the songs.
Oh yeah. Well, so that was probably the best musically the best one I've ever been to. And also Taking Back Sunday. I don't know if I mentioned it on the podcast or not. But what they would do is they would be singing, and he would have the microphone. And he's very famous for this. Something Lazaro, I don't know his, but he'll get the mic, and he'll like throw it and like swing it around on the thing, and like he'll throw it at the crowd and like do
cool.
This thing with it. He'll do that all the time because he's just good at it.
Oh, I love that.
And so they were a really fun band to watch. They're probably the best band I've seen live.
We should do that during the podcast.
And I wasn't even there for them. I was there for Coheed and Cambria, who I've seen twice, and I'll talk about it because the second time I saw Coheed and Cambria was very notable. Not because of them, because of the audience, but that was a fun one to go to. That was probably the best concert I've ever been to.
That's awesome.
Because I was by myself too, because I was like, this is awesome. It was in the summertime. I remember it was in an amphitheater, so it wasn't like this place you stand up. You could have sat down if you wanted to, but why would you go to a concert and sit down? Well, you're different. You're broken. your body is crumbling. No,
it's true.
But like I get the need to sit down, but if like your favorite band's on, why would you just be like, all right, I'm gonna make a choice to sit down?
No, I
you know.
understand.
But the guy next to me got mad because he was just standing there, and I was like jumping up and down and stuff. And I hit him multiple times.
Oh, I do
Not
that.
hit him, you know what I mean?
No, but I do that too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cause like, why am I just gonna sit there and just?
When I went to the T-shirt I'm wearing is signed by the 502s, which are a really fun band. And when I went to their concert, at first it was so weird because everyone was just like standing there, and
Well, the radio room is where you went, right?
Yeah.
So the radio room is a smaller, like warehouse-ish, not warehouse, like a sort of bar-ish type venue in South Carolina, and it's a standing room. So like most concert spaces, most smaller concert spaces are going to be more like that standing room. Yeah. Except for at that place at the bar.
Right. But the thing is, their music.
Just for context for people.
Their music is like really fun, and they're going like it's fun, and everyone was just kind of standing there, and I was like, "What are you all doing?" So I was dancing and having fun.
That's my.
It was great.
So I think that's my problem, and since we're getting into venues, we can talk about like my favorite venues and stuff like that you've been to. Mm-hmm. So the radio room is very similar to the one that I've been to in DC called the Black Cat. So the Black Cat is a punk club, or like punk nightclub in downtown Washington DC, and it's very similar in the fact that like tickets are pretty cheap. Mm-hmm. So what'll happen is just a ton of people will just come not knowing the band, therefore they won't get into the band, therefore they're not going to be jumping around or dancing or singing along.
Right.
So that's the problem with like cheaper tickets, is that most of the time people may not know the band.
Yeah.
But I still, to be fair, again, when I went to the Black Cat, I wasn't jumping around. I was sort of standing in the back, like, you know, doing this.
Yeah.
But
but
I'm not a dancer.
Well, I dance around a lot,
sure.
So I was dancing and jumping and twirling and having a blast.
Oh yeah.
But what was funny was, so when I got to see the 502s, it was really cool because I had discovered them for myself like 2 weeks before that.
Right.
I had like a random, I think it was an Instagram clip or something, like a Reels. Right. And I was like, oh, I like this song. This is cool.
I like this.
And then I clicked on them, and then I listened to all of their songs. Like, oh, this is my life now. I love them. And then like the next week they were like, hey, we're coming to Greenville. And I was like, hey, I'm going to Greenville.
Right.
And so it was just kind of like stars aligned.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, it was great. It was so much fun. And it was really cool because they were really nice guys. And at the end of the show, at the end of the show, they all came and met everybody. I took pictures with all of them.
That's fun.
They were so cool.
That's
and
awesome.
now they're like a lot bigger than they were in the radio room. Like,
I definitely know.
They're selling things out now.
Oh,
it's crazy.
That's awesome.
So shout out to the 502s. I'm proud of you.
Well, if we're going into the smaller ones, because I've only in the concerts I've been to, I've only met 2 bands I've ever attended their concert. Mm-hmm. So back to the Black Cat, because you can do this more in a smaller venue.
Setting, yeah.
But again, the Black Cat's like this punk venue, and so we went there. I was in DC. And it was, I'll just go ahead and tell the whole story, but because it was the most interesting story revolving around. The recent
one?
Yes. Okay. So this was in November, and I was in DC, and I was like, I looked up, I don't know, I was like, I'm in DC, let's see what, like, I don't know, clubs or whatever are there, and I found this one that said Punk Nightclub, and I was like, that sounds awesome, boom, what is happening? It's like live music, and it was a band called Hammered Hulls, which is like besides Black Flag, the DC punk band. Like they're all like in their 60s.
Awesome.
They never made it big, but they're big in DC.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And so they were playing with Divorce Horse and Saffron.
That's a great name.
Saffron, which is the shirt I have here. Shout out to Saffron. I met the guitarist of Saffron. None of them else were sober enough to talk to me, but I met her and she was super nice. And so I go there and I'm in the like lobby of this hotel that I was on a like class trip.
Yeah, our professor was there too.
Yeah, and so I'm walking to the elevator and then a professor walks over to me and says like, "Hey, where are you going?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to this punk nightclub called the Black Cat, and there's gonna be some punk band, like some hardcore punk band playing." And she was like, "Okay, cool, I'll meet you there." And then,
she's the best.
Yeah, and then so I never had her, but so I was like, "Okay, cool," and I just sent her the address, and then like I show up, and I get there at 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, because it said doors open 8 o'clock. So I get there at 8 o'clock. And I walk in, and I am the only person in there. Besides the bartender, like 3 people at the bar, I'm the only, and the tech crew, and the sound guy, I'm the only person there. I was like, oh my God.
That's awesome, though. Oh my God.
No, I was like, oh my God. I'm going to have to, like, you don't want to be the only person in the crowd. You don't want to be the only person in the crowd.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no. And it's like what you think. It's like an old school punk club. Like it's like CBGB's or something like that. Like it is. The floors are, I presume they're checkerboard, but they're so gross that I could be convinced otherwise. You know, there's like posters all over the wall. The mirrors, there's mirrors everywhere. They're all cracked. Like it's awesome.
Yeah, that's
I was
really
like,
cool.
This is great. And so eventually they start to come in. I'm asking one of the guys. So in like smaller bands, I don't know if the 502s did this, but in smaller bands, it's like before and after you perform, your downtime is spent sitting there selling your t-shirts.
Yeah, they were.
Okay, good.
They were.
Yeah, so you're sitting there selling your t-shirts. So I'm talking to them, and I'm like, so what's the deal? And they're like, oh, because it was like 8 o'clock. Show was supposed to start at 8:30. It's like 9:15 now. I'm like, so what's going on? Nothing started. And they're like, oh, and I'm not trying to throw Saffron on the bus. I think they think this story is funny.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, no, they're not ready yet. They're still drinking. I was like, okay, cool. So we're just sitting there all waiting for this band to start. And they were like, Saffron, if you're listening, you were fantastic.
But were there people there by that point?
Eventually people start trickling in, and then by the time Hammered Holes gets there around probably 11 o'clock, it's full.
Okay, cool.
And it's also standing room, so I'm
just,
standing in the back.
You were just the nerd that showed up early.
I didn't know. It said doors open at 8. I assumed the concert started at like 8:15 or 8:30. But
it's so funny.
And also so I'm glad I did, because Saffron was my favorite band that performed that night. But they were fantastic. And then they're selling merch, and I went and I bought a t-shirt. And that was I think I did tell the story on the podcast, but I was like, hey, what do you have do you have this size? And they were like, oh, we don't have this. We do have this one shirt, but like I spilt something on it. I don't know what, I don't remember, but like I spilled something on it. I was like, you know what? I'll take it. And then and I did it, and it was indeed wet. And then so I put it on over the shirt I had. Oh yeah, because I'm not going to carry a shirt around Washington D.C.
Of course.
But so that was again. I was like, this is awesome. This is fun.
Yeah.
There was nothing. I didn't smell like anything, so I don't know what was on it. She probably just spilled water on it and just was like, oh shoot, I forgot whatever. But
talk about the shirt that our professor bought though.
So then there's another band on after Saffron leaves. They only had like a 30-minute set. Because it's hardcore punk, every song's 35 seconds long. But so the next band comes on, Divorce Horse, and Divorce Horse it was also a great band. This guy, it was funny, and I think I commented on it with him afterwards. But he gets on stage, he's fully clothed, and then he sings one song, and the first song he rips his shirt off, throws it. And I was like, why would you just come out without a shirt on? Why did you decide? Like, I don't know. Like, if but if you're like halfway through the set and you're like, oh, it's hot in here. But like the first song, halfway through the first song, you're gonna take your shirt off. Like, but he was funny. I have a video of him. He would do this move where he was just like get really into it. So he'd just start like doing this and like over and over again.
I love
and that was fun. And so he's screaming on stage, like he has this high screaming voice.
Cool.
And then he gets off stage, and they're waiting for Hammered Hulls to set up, and I walk over to him, I'm like, hey man, that was awesome. And he's just like, oh my God, thank you.
Oh,
he was such a nice dude. And I'm sure I bought something from him. I didn't buy the shirt, but I bought something from him.
Yeah.
He was also selling the banner, because his banner was just a like black bed sheet that they spray painted Divorce Horse on.
That's cool.
But my professor bought their shirt, because their shirt was this very poorly drawn horse with the poorly drawn Nike logo on the chest. And it just had said like on the bottom, this horse is very good or something like that. And I didn't even read it. If I had read that, I would have bought that shirt and I would be wearing that today. But I don't regret my decision at all. Yeah. And then Hammered Holes came on. They were good. I mean, but they were older, so they didn't have that much energy. But it was a fun. And so I prefer concerts like where you could actually talk to the people. Yeah. Typically they're either super weird or super nice. Typically they're super nice, but I mean, if they're super weird, that's fine too.
Yeah. I also
talked a lot about one concert that was
No, that's great. You should. The other one I wanted to mention in terms of like best concerts I've been to for sure. This summer, my mom surprised me. And my favorite singer is Andy Grammer.
That's right.
And she surprised me, and I got to see Andy Grammer perform live on my birthday.
On your birthday.
And his concert was about an hour and a half. I cried for about an hour and a half. I mean, like the second he got on the stage, like, he's here.
He's here. How many times have you seen Andy Grammer live?
That was the only
first time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, that's the only time, and that it was a really big deal because he's one of those singers that's like as cheesy as it sounds, he's like important to me. Like his songs mean things to me, and they're important to me.
Put you in a mood, right?
Yeah, that's different. But yeah, so seeing him perform live was just like what?
Oh, I thought it was turning dark.
No, it's not. I had turned the brightest down. No, it just was like really special to me, and so that was really cool. So
awesome.
And he sounded amazing. And the band he had with him, they were so cool. I don't know instruments, but one of the trumpet type instrument guys, he was really cool. He was dancing while playing, and I was like, "You rock."
What? Did he dance like a Muppet? Why is he dancing like this?
Because we don't have a lot of room, or I would perform bigger. but no, I just wanted to mention that as one of my like favorites for sure.
I have the luxury at least. Oh, sorry.
Well, I would say it wasn't as like crazy performative as Bruno Mars.
Of course.
But it felt. Well,
it was also in like Marat. Paul, right?
Yeah, well,
so it's in the indoor.
Yeah,
so you're not going to see fireworks.
No, that's what I'm saying. But even though
that'd be a problem.
Even though it was packed, it felt really like personal. Mm-hmm. And he sang a couple of his new songs at the time too. And there was one point where it sounds so cheesy, but he was singing a song that is important to me and my parents. And we were like standing up and like singing. And he looked at us and pointed at us and like put his heart and then pointed back to us. And I was like, it was to us. That one was actually.
Did you get to talk to him afterwards?
No, because he's a big deal.
Dang, he wasn't out selling his merch.
No, but I did buy merch. Okay.
Yeah, it's not hurt.
But I did buy merch. I have a shirt from him too, but I'm not wearing it.
Nope,
it's over there.
Well, this one's signed. I don't know. If you showed that,
I wanted to show because they signed it afterwards.
Because it's
awesome.
I'm trying to think. So I have the luxury of not. There's only been 2 concerts I would say were bad. But not bad because they were performatively bad. Bad that they're not music I like.
Yeah.
And I knew that going in. They were just. I think these 2 were free concerts. But we'll get to the bad ones in a second. Do
you want me to? Can I say another one or no? Is it your turn or is it my turn?
Well, I was gonna read. I was gonna read one of theirs.
Go ahead.
Your mother. Right. Janet Jackson. The Rhythm Nation tour. That is awesome.
I know.
That is so cool.
It's so cool.
Man, that's cool.
Yeah, I think that was her first concert too. Like that's awesome.
No, that's really
the Rhythm Nation tour too. Like
that's a big one.
Oh my gosh.
But I wonder if like later when we're talking to like people or like kids, like or our kids or whatever, and and they say, "Oh my God, you got to see Bruno Mars," and like if they'll have that. I always wonder if artists today will have that kind of staying power, like Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson.
I get to say that my first concert.
U2 will make sure they have staying power. They will flirt their way up to buying off some new Apple tech company.
Every year we get a new album on our phone.
it's always U2 somehow, or it's the guy, or who's the guy in U2?
I don't know their names.
Okay, one of the guys from YouTube. Yeah. Bono. Bono's going to be on every single new iPhone.
But I get to say that my first concert was Miley Cyrus. And that's really cool. Yeah, it was her first, actually this is really cool, because it was her first tour not as Hannah Montana.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was her
That's really
first
cool.
tour as Miley Cyrus, and it was really cool.
I can imagine.
And I was 8 years old and just like in love and amazed and obsessed.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
like this is the coolest thing in the world. And my best friend and I went together, and it was the best.
That's awesome.
It was the best. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was first. I think she became first, but it's fine. But yeah, my mom, Janet Jackson. That's so cool.
That's really
That's
awesome.
so cool. Yeah. Is it the only one you were gonna read?
No. I was.
My dad's was Huey Lewis and the News.
Your dad's not that old either. That's funny. Oh, there's a lot. Okay, let's just run through these because.
Also, I want to say our the Bearly Bearable Besties Instagram got a lot of responses. I posted this on my story and I got one response. And really funny, the response was Red Hot Chili Peppers, which
is funny because that's like the one band I do not like.
Which is you don't like it, and I now have personal beef with it, anyways. Yes.
I don't remember. So.
Yes, you do. We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
So we both don't like it. Is the point?
Okay. Rainbow Kitten Surprise at the Orange Peel.
That's cool.
I'm assuming it's the Orange Peel. The Orange Peel is another one of those like smaller venues in Asheville, North Carolina. It's cool too. Rainbow Kitten Surprise. I don't know what that is, so but that's cool.
They're kind of I don't know what genre to call them because I was gonna call them like folk, but that's not true. They're kind of cool. I've listened.
They're
to
kind of cool. Okay,
I'm
cool.
not a big fan.
Sure.
But people like them.
The Dave Matthews Band. That's cool. That's fun.
My uncle. Shoot, I should have asked him beforehand. My uncle's like friends with him.
Dave Matthews?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, because he was a crazy fan and like went to a bunch of their concerts, and he was always like front row and backstage stuff. And then at one point, Dave was like, "Hey, want to hang out?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so now my uncle goes to Dave Matthews concerts, and then they like hang out afterwards.
That's awesome.
I know.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Kiss and Harry Styles. So we'll talk about Harry Styles first. Harry Styles, I don't think I would enjoy that concert. I would enjoy the concert. I'm not a huge Harry Styles fan.
But everyone would enjoy the concert.
But
yeah.
like that's like a step below Taylor Swift on like terms of like competitiveness for those tickets, you know?
Yo, yeah.
So like it can't be Taylor Swift. It can't.
Yeah.
We could have talked about the whole Ticketmaster thing.
Oh yeah, we didn't prepare for that.
Well, I will tell you, I hate Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster,
Nice.
if you're watching.
We're not sponsored by you.
No, that's one of those companies that if they said, "Hey, we'll sponsor you," I'd say no.
Nah, we're good.
But how much money are we talking?
Yeah, hold
on. Kiss is an interesting one too because like
what's interesting is saying Kiss and Harry Styles in the same sentence. It's just kind of funny.
I think they would play it together. They would come headline.
For sure, absolutely. That would be awesome.
I'm surprised One Direction didn't do a photo shoot where they had the Kiss makeup on.
I don't know, but that is a good time for me to mention that I have been to a One Direction concert.
Oh.
It was on my 13th birthday, and it was really cool.
That's fun.
Yeah,
That's
it was
awesome.
great.
My sister also wrote One Direction as her favorite concert. She went to see them in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, awesome!
And that was a big deal too. That was
yeah,
because that was at their height. I don't
Yeah.
remember. Don't ask me what tour it was because I don't remember. But
yeah,
she was probably around 13 too. So
yeah.
But Kiss is funny because it's not my mom. My mom didn't write that as her favorite concert, but she did go see Kiss, and I have the original, their double platinum album. The album is called Double Platinum, and it has the ticket stub in it. I don't know where it is.
Wow.
My guess is it's in my room because I have this big box of CDs in my room. But so she bought it there and then put it in there, and it's not signed. I don't think it's signed, but it has the ticket stub in it.
That's cool.
From 1999. And so she was pregnant with me and my sister when she went to that concert, which is fun. And like, I'm not talking like, like very pregnant with me and my sister, which is funny because like, big concerts, it's like, okay, so it's not a concert, but it is funny to me.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Like, that's awesome. That's why I can't hear out of my left. Thank you, Mom. No, but that is a funny concert story too, but that's not what she wrote. She wrote, what? I thought she wrote on here.
I saw your mom's name.
Yeah. Where is it?
I don't know, but I definitely saw it.
The Police, the Synchronicity Tour.
Okay, very cool.
In Atlanta in 1983.
Wow.
The Police, I'm not a huge fan of, but like I get it. That's awesome.
They're the I'll Be Watching You ones?
That and Roxanne, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's a cool one to go to.
That is cool.
Greta Van Fleet. Greta Van Fleet would be cool live. You've probably heard, but 21 Pilots. I'm not a huge 21 Pilots fan, but I could see why that would be a big deal. And that would be cool. A string quartet.
Wow, that's different though.
Beautiful music, imaginative renditions, pure magic.
I'm sorry.
That's not my thing. If I'm going to a concert, I want to feel like my heart is about to explode. You know, like I want to feel like there's so much noise happening that I'm gonna have a go into cardiac arrest. You
don't think that could? Well, say the word again. What is the sentence?
String quartet. Oh, no. Beautiful music, imaginative renditions, and pure magic.
You don't think pure magic would make your heart explode? It's pure magic, he says. I love you.
You know, I mean, you drive with me. You know, I like intensity in my music.
I thought you were saying like you drive with me, like you're on the same page as me right now. I was like, okay,
that should start saying
I've never heard that.
Yeah, no. Instead of like, oh, that tracks, I'm tracking. Just like, no, you drive with me. You're driving with me. We're driving on the same. You're in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
Depeche Mode in the 1999. That's fun. And then Travis Scott. I've heard Travis Scott's very good live.
Yeah, I've heard
Depeche Mode's interesting. 502s. I had a great time.
Hey.
303. That's fun.
So this person who comments this, I went to that concert with them. Because what it was, you know how schools will like bring a band for like welcome week or something. Right.
Well, not our school, but some schools.
Yeah, we do.
No, they bring that weird Christian.
Webb.
They bring that weird Christian country singer. That's right.
Can I count Cody Webb? Because I was in my dorm, but I could hear him.
And he
wouldn't
you could.
Stop.
I will give you money to stop, please. It's 9:00 and you make me want to go to bed.
Not sponsored by Cody Webb.
But Cody Webb, listen, I make fun of you, but I never listen to you.
I listened from my dorm.
I don't know if that was the right thing to say there. Listen, if it makes you feel better, Cody Webb, I don't listen to you, so I don't have an opinion.
But okay. Also, to be fair, it's just not my type of music. It's
Christian country music is
not my thing. Not really my thing. But the 303s, that was who came my freshman year of college at Hawaii Pacific University. They were the band.
That's cool. That would be a fun one to go to.
Well, it was really interesting because they were like, they're not gonna watch this. They were like,
not
old.
If we tag them.
They were
old?
like, yeah, like
I could have if you asked me when they were famous, like big. How old they were, I would have guessed like 17.
Yeah, well, like I guess they weren't that old, but like they were moving kind of slow.
Oh, they weren't into it?
They were trying really hard to be into it, but they kind of weren't. And it was...
I would imagine it takes a lot of practice to be really good performers on stage.
Yeah.
Because it's not just playing music correctly.
They try
You have
really
to play
hard.
it correctly and then also be
entertaining,
fun.
yeah.
Right.
And what was
that
funny...
takes practice.
And
they were young back then, right?
Like in the day?
Oh, no. You were a freshman like 5 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Is that how long ago? That's crazy.
You're old.
I am old. Someone said that to me recently. They were a freshman, and I... Oh, my gosh.
Folks, if you're listening...
Why are we dying?
What happened?
I don't know.
Dang it, we're gonna have to edit stuff. No, So
never mind. Doesn't matter anymore.
So also somebody writes Paul McCartney. So Paul McCartney would be interesting. Your house is making very weird noises. That is a weird noise. I don't know what that is. That's a strange noise, and they can't even hear it.
Okay, sorry.
If you think we're editing this, you're wrong.
This is the worst. This is the worst.
But yeah. So we had those are some good answers. What were you talking about? Oh, 303. So they were actually well past their prime. So they really should have gotten that down by then.
Yeah, but one of the things I thought was really funny at that concert was because it was like it had been like a week of being not at home.
Right.
And not just not being at home, being in Hawaii is
being several time zones away is hard.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But so I was feeling super homesick already because I was like, this is already like a big change.
Right.
And then it was really funny because there was this like little 4-year-old running around and I was like, child.
Whose kid is
Child,
this?
what are you doing? And then his parents ended up sitting right next to me, and I was like, oh, can I play with your kid? And so whenever I was bored, the parents ended up.
You say you were bored at a 303 concert?
No, I mean like in between stuff. And so
when they had to take their nap in between each set.
But so the parents literally walked away, and I ended up just like babysitting this kid.
Oh wow!
And I was like,
for free?
Yeah. Well, and my mom texted me at one point and was like, "Go be a college kid. What are you doing? Like stop babysitting the child." And I was like, "But he likes me," because we had this big foam. Instead of foam fingers, they had foam shakas.
Okay.
Because it's Hawaii. And so we would do this thing where the kid would put his hand and I'd be like, "Whoa, your hand's so big!" And then he would take it out and be like, "No, it's little." And I thought it was, and he was laughing like it was great. So that was my favorite part of the 303 concert. But we did meet them afterwards. So I
were they cool?
With them. They were nice. Yeah, he was really tall. He's a tall dude. Can I tell a story that is really cool?
All right, and then I'll tell mine, and then we'll go to the worst one.
Okay.
Because we don't have to read off every single concert.
No, I won't. Yeah, they're all just there. All right, you go ahead. You go ahead, because I just talked.
So this is a funny story. This is a great concert. It was just, this story is going to make it sound very not funny. But, so I went to see Coheed and Cambria in what is called the Senate, the Tin Roof. I think it used to be called the Tin Roof. Now it's called the Senate. It's in Columbia, South Carolina, and so it's one of those smaller ones that has a bar in one room, which I didn't go into, and then there's this like warehouse looking standing room. So this one was interesting because it was the first one I've been to. So this band called there was 3, but the big one that opened was called Foxing, and they're like a alternative like screamo band, and they were really good. And then Coheed and Cambria opened, and so I was there with my girlfriend at the time. We were both in high school, and so we were both like 16, 17 maybe. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately that's important later.
Okay.
But so we're sitting there, and then firstly we're in like the back corner, and a guy in front of me decides, all right, this is the place we're going to start a mosh pit.
Oh, no.
Which is, if you are to know sort of rock concert etiquette, that's always at the front. That is what you go to the front. If you're in a warehouse area, if you're in a like outdoor area, typically they'll have like this gated off area for that. But if you're in the front, that's where you go to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or like, sort of front-ish middle. But he was like, oh, no. We're going to start it here in the back corner. Regardless of what, like, mosh pits there's no rule, but like it's never in the back corner.
I'm scared of them. I don't ever want to be
Not my thing. I've never been in one, never want to. But he decides to start it there, so he just like sort of starts pushing a guy, and the guy's like, nope, we're not doing this. And he starts the guy just like shoves him to the ground and then like walks away. And then he got up, he was like, all right, I get it. And so he just starts dancing, he starts flailing his arms around, stuff like that. So me and like 2 other guys are sitting there, standing in front of our girlfriends, sort of just like watching him do this. And I'm sitting there like standing there like this, trying to watch the show, and it was a good show.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we're sitting there and he's dancing, and then he walks over to my girlfriend, who I want to remind everybody is 16, and he says the worst line. I didn't hear this, but he walks over and he says, "Hey, you the dancing kind of girl?"
Oh my gosh.
And she says, "Nope." And then I didn't hear what he said.
That's the best answer that you could have.
I'm assuming she said like, "Nope."
Yeah.
Or something like that. Or she probably just said, "Oh, no, thank you," or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he said like, "You sure?"
I am sure.
And I'm not to bury the lead here. It's not like we both looked older than we were.
Yeah.
We very much looked 16, 17,
Yeah.
But he was like, you dancing kind of girl. And then, so then that happened. And then the show ended and it was fine. But that was the weird one. Because I didn't know until after that we were walking out of the venue. And I was like, what did he say to you?
Wow. That's funny.
No, so that was the most interesting one, because every other smaller venue I've been to, I've never had an issue with like drunk people doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know? I've also never been to a concert with a girlfriend again, so like.
That's true. And it's
for
and
that
it's
reason, because what if a drunk guy every single time, hey, you the dancing kind of guy.
That's the line. That is
that's
the
the
line. I'm gonna talk about a concert that I didn't plan on going to and ended up there on accident.
Whoa!
In the VIP section on accident. So it was when I lived in California.
Okay.
And you know, like the Grove. It's
nope.
Okay. Well, no. Okay. If you're listening and you know what that is, you know what that is. It's kind of like a.
If you know, you know.
Kind of like an outdoor mall, not an outlet mall though, but like I don't know how to explain it.
Okay.
A downtown mall type place outside. It's a terrible description, but let's go with it. Anyways, my mom and I were walking around the Grove, and there was this like really long line of people, and they there's always something happening in LA, and so I was like, I want to know what's happening.
Oh yeah.
And so I went up to this like security guard, and I was like, hey, what's everybody in line for?
How old were you all at this point? Were you?
Probably 15, I think. Wait, my hair was long. I was 16.
Okay, cool.
Because there's a video.
I don't. Yep.
There's a video. So I was 16. And so anyways, I was like, hey, what is everyone waiting for? And he was like, Cheryl Lloyd concert today. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Do you remember Cheryl Lloyd?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I was like,
I was just waiting for you to say the name like loud so the
sorry.
microphone
There's a Cheryl Lloyd concert.
Hear. You literally just like.
I did.
There's a shit.
Because he whispered it.
Yeah, but there's a microphone here.
But
we're running a podcast beyond.
But so I was like, oh, that's really cool. And he was like, you want to go? And I was like, well, I didn't get tickets. And he was like, well, I'll just let you in right here. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, it's VIP section. You want in? And I was like, yeah, sure. And so me, a girl that I had just met recently, I don't know if I met her that day or a couple days before, but she lived in LA, was my age, so we were friends. And my mom, we all ended up in the VIP section at a Cheryl Lloyd concert.
Perfect.
And it was really cool.
Was it a good concert?
So this is what I was gonna say. I actually ended up caring less about Cheryl Lloyd, who I liked a lot. But she performed some of her old stuff, and then she talked about how special her new album was to her because it was the first album she's had complete control over. And she was like, so I'm gonna perform some of those songs, and I was like, I don't really like them.
Ooh, maybe you should let somebody else have some control.
Yeah, let's go back to Want You Back.
Right.
But they were great. It's just not what I was thinking it was going to be. But the best part of the concert was the guy who opened for her. At the time, he went by AJ. He goes by something else now. It's like Alec something. But he went by AJ. And he sang a bunch of covers, and everyone was kind of singing along. But a lot of people were disinterested.
Sure.
Because
they
were there for Cheryl Lloyd. Who's this guy? Right. And then he sang his song, and I'm having a blast because I didn't plan on being there, so I don't care if it's Cheryl Lloyd or whoever's there. I'm at a concert, but I didn't plan on being that. So I'm like dancing really big in the front row. It's on video. My mom has the video. It's on my Instagram. The guy,
VIP section's in the front row? I thought you were talking about like a box sort of thing.
No, well, it's like so like. I'll show you the video later.
Okay.
But anyways, he sees me singing to his song. He jumps off the stage. He walks over to me. He grabs my hand and sings the song with me. And I'm like, oh, we're in love. I'm in love with you. You're in love with me.
I'm 15. You're 30. You're in love with me.
No, he was a teenager.
He was?
Yes. He was a teenager.
How old was he?
I don't remember now. He was.
I'm trying to inject ethics into this conversation. I'm trying to ruin your love story.
No, I was 16. He was probably like 19, which is not actually okay. But
no, it's not. But it's a cute concert story. Yeah.
Yes, and so I was like, I'm in love with you. This is thank you.
Hi AJ.
And then
Hi, AJ.
we had a blast. And if you watch the video too, he like pushes someone over to get to me. Like it's like. He was walking to me. It was great.
I think Moto
likes you.
I think AJ likes you.
And so it was so great. And after the concert, I said hi to him. And it was great.
You just walk up and hey. And then walk away.
Whatever, you know.
Oops, drop your phone number.
But so that was really cool. So
that's fun.
Shout out. And Cheryl Lloyd was really fun too. So shout out to Cheryl Lloyd and AJ because that was a fun one.
That's fun.
Yeah. I have one more cool story if you want to hear it.
I only want to hear uncool stories.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay, so we could go into it if you have quickly because we have a lot of other stuff to.
Okay, you go ahead.
Well, I was gonna go to the bad ones.
Well, I can sneak back in with a good one.
Because
I don't really have bad ones. I've enjoyed everything that
I have bad ones, but
I've enjoyed all the things. That
we also asked the audience. We asked them what was the worst concert you've ever been to. Mm. So one person says Hank Williams Jr. He was wasted and you couldn't hear him. He's just singing like this. He's just like,
wow.
That's not good.
I've heard that about a lot of country singers though.
Yeah.
A lot of people go to country concerts and then it's not what they wanted it to be.
No, and so I did actually save some. We might not get into it, but I did say who are some of the worst live bands you've ever seen? Because because there are definitely some bands that like you listen to like, oh, I bet they'd be awesome live, and they either can't play the songs they've been playing, or they more often they cannot sing like they sing it. And like there's a difference between like, oh, it sounds different versus oh.
Yeah.
And I don't have any bands. I don't think I've listened to any bands that are like drastically different than what they were. But Diana Krall, David Lee Roth. 303 is the only concert I've ever been to, therefore is the worst. Okay, cool.
He said worst and best. I probably would say 303 was the worst that I've been to.
It's just not your thing.
Well, no, they just...
Oh, they also weren't...
They just weren't that good.
Right.
I like some of their songs, but they just were kind of boring. They were trying too hard to be fun.
Yeah.
It looked like in a Disney movie, the dad who was trying to be hip.
Oh no!
That's how it looked.
Oh god!
I'll show you a video.
I'm trying to think because
the opening act
of the bands I've listened to live, because there's definitely something to say about a band who can perform well. Because I'm trying to Coheed and Cambria, he sounds almost exactly the same. It's just when he gets to those high notes, he sort of just doesn't do them, which is normal. I think that's fine, especially when you've been on tour for 2 months.
I was gonna say you can't do it every time.
I don't expect that. Claudio Sanchez is a fantastic, because what he'll do is he'll play the guitar, and particularly on the song Welcome Home, he'll put it behind his head and do that sort of thing, and then he'll play with his teeth, which is gross, but he'll do it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. Now, Claudio Sanchez is fun to watch. If you like hard rock, he's a fun guitarist to watch. The worst one.
You keep looking at my list.
Yeah, the worst one for me is definitely, there's two that I didn't like. So what happened is my mom used to know someone who worked at a basketball arena in our city that would host concerts, like a concert venue, basketball arena, that kind of sort of hockey rink, the place we went to.
Oh, okay.
She used to know someone who worked there, so she would be like, "Hey, this concert tonight, nobody bought the tickets, so the tickets are They give. I don't know how it works. They probably don't do this anymore because it used to be smaller then." But it was like, oh yeah, no, nobody bought the tickets, so they just gave it to us. Do you want $5? And so we went. So we did that 2 times. The first time was the best. It was the first concert I ever went to. Mm-hmm. It was co-headlining. It was Alice Cooper and Motley Crue, which are 2. Cool. And so Alice Cooper was amazing. If you ever watch his shows, he's super theatrical. He has this cane he spins around. He gets decapitated. It's a big deal.
Wow. And
he's great. It sounds great too. He sounds good.
That's awesome.
Not fantastic, but he sounds similar. I don't think he ever had a great voice, so it sounds fine when he does it. And then Motley Crue was good. The singer didn't sound too great, but I think they're pretty old too. And he was also very drunk, so we left halfway through. This is the first concert I've ever been to. I was probably 11 or 12, and he got super drunk. And so we're halfway through the set, and he's like, "All right, I want to tell you guys the story."
Oh no!
The story of how this band got together. And then he just we realized we were sitting there for 10 minutes. We're like, "Oh," right. And then he's cursing and stuff like that, and he's just like, "And so we got this guy," and he points at the drummer. He's like, "We stole this guy from another band," and he's just going through all this stuff, and we're like, so we left.
Okay, yeah.
We're like, all right, we get it.
Yeah.
Alice Cooper was great though. So I typically tell people, they say, "What was your first concert?" And I say Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
And then but that wasn't the worst one. That was a great concert. Musically, that was a great concert. There are fireworks in an arena. It was cool.
That's cool.
Then that same person who had these tickets, I think there were some others that we just didn't go to, like Counting Crows, I think was there, and we didn't go to them, stuff like that. And then
We just watched that episode of The Office that talked about accounting crows.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, yes, we did. And then...
They also did.
Then, not the worst concert I've been to, I'll get to that, but one of the concerts that I think would have been good if I actually cared about the type of music that was being played, it was Philip Phillips.
I thought that was your first concert.
No, that was not my
Okay.
I don't think that was my first concert. That and the Alice Cooper concert were like within a month of each other, so I don't remember.
You know what's really funny? Because I think originally you told me Philip Phillips was your first concert, and I bet you were directing your answer to me rather than saying Alice Cooper.
I don't remember. Maybe.
I feel like that's probably
Make it more
what
relatable.
Yeah,
Make it more
that's probably
relatable.
what happened.
But for Philip Phillips, so if you don't know who Philip Phillips is, he's a country...
Make this place your home.
Yeah, that guy. He's a country singer.
Is he country?
He's like a pop country singer.
I wouldn't pass him.
And he got famous because he, I think, almost won American Idol.
Yes.
So
I believe that's correct.
He came to my city, and we watched it, and it was fun. It's not my type of music.
Yeah.
And then he had like light shows and stuff, which was cool.
That's cool.
And so that was fun. He was an okay concert. Then, along probably the same year, we went to, there's another American Idol artist named Colton Dixon. Colton Dixon
is he a country singer?
Christian rock singer.
Oh, okay.
Christian rock country singer.
Okay.
Definitively the worst concert I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And again, not because of his performance, because if we're talking my favorite music lists, Christian anything for music is going to be dead last. Because I think generally Christian music is a worse representation of the music they are trying to... Like, Christian rock is a worse version of rock.
Yeah.
Christian country is a worse version of country music. And I think most Christian people I talk to agree with me on that, too. They're like, yeah, no, Christian whatever isn't my type of music. Except for every thrift store I ever go to, they're playing Christian music. So maybe there's an audience I don't know.
There's definitely an audience.
Well, there's like... Yeah.
I would say there's an audience.
Well, there's certainly an audience. But, so what he did is that he almost won American Idol as well, or he got far. And so this is well after his American Idol career. He was going to different cities and playing at churches.
Oh.
So he was playing at different churches.
So you saw him at a church?
I saw him at a church parking lot.
Oh yes, I knew that.
We brought our own lawn chairs and stuff like that, and we just sat there and listened to him sing and then preach as well. Oh,
wow.
Yeah, so that was my least favorite concert I've been to. It wasn't my... And not, again, I think he's a great performer. Obviously, he did very well in American Idol. Not my thing.
Yeah.
So that was the worst concert I've been to by far. But this one was free. So
well, then it's worth it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I'm gonna say another one of my favorites, but I'll try to be fast for you because I know we don't have a lot of time.
No, we're already going probably 50 minutes.
Yeah, about. I've been watching it. But anyways. So, growing up, I loved theater. I still do love theater, but like when I was 8, Wicked was my life.
Sure.
The musical Wicked was my everything.
I was a Wicked girl. That's your AOL screen name is Wicked Girl 99
Wicked Girl
or whatever.
3000.
Yeah.
No, so I really loved Wicked, and more than anything in the world, I idolized Kristen Chenoweth.
Mm-hmm. As you
her.
should.
Yeah, and I would say I still do. I think she's incredible. But when I lived in LA, all by happenstance, we found that she was getting her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Right.
And it was close to where I was living. And my mom basically like camped out in front of her star like the whole day and was like, no, we're going to be in the front. So we were right in the front, right behind the press. So we were right behind the press while she got her star. And what was really cool about when she got her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame...
Wait, so are you saying if I find a picture online of her getting her star, you're in there?
I can show you. I have the professional pictures.
Like of her putting her... I don't know how stars work. Like her just posing in front of it? That's not the one where you put your hand in the cement.
Different.
Okay. Is that only in movies? Is that a movie thing? Okay.
No, that's a thing. But anyways,
So you would be in those pictures?
I'm probably not in the picture.
Or it's like you could point. Oh, I was right.
I could tell you where I am. Yeah.
I'm behind the camera guy.
Yeah. Well, so anyways, the cool thing about when she got her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame was that it was also her birthday, And so she got her star on her birthday, and that's really cool. Anyways, I am chatty, and so I was chatting with all of the press.
And you were also, you're probably 15 or something like that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and so I was chatting with all of the press, because of course. And anyways, this one guy I ended up talking to, had an interview with her scheduled afterwards. I don't know what network he was with, I don't remember. But he was like, you should meet her. And I was like, I should meet her. And he's like, do you want to? And it's like, I do. And so, right, she finishes her speech, sobbed through her speech.
You did?
Yes. So,
or she did?
Both.
Okay.
But so she had Kenny Ortega, who I look up to. He's a choreographer. I choreograph things. My mom choreographs things. We both look up to him. He choreographed all of the High School Musical movies.
Which is funny because I choreograph for this show, so like you're getting all, you're letting me down.
Sorry, you also choreograph, of course. But he also choreographed Michael Jackson's final "This Is It" tour, so he's a big deal.
Yeah.
I loved him because
I don't remember exactly, but when I looked him up, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, he's so impressive. So he was there. He gave a speech. I think. Not Reba McEntire. I'm getting my names. That's a different story. Oh my gosh. Carol Burnett. Sorry.
Carol Burnett.
Wrong redhead.
How on earth?
Redhead.
Okay.
And I have a Reba story, but I'm not telling it.
That's cool. You got to meet Carol Burnett.
But so Carol Burnett was also. I didn't meet Carol Burnett, but she was in my vicinity.
I could touch her.
Yeah, and so she also gave a speech. But when Kristen gave her speech, it was about, one of the things she said was how much she looked up to Carol Burnett growing up, and that she idolized her and wanted to be her. Anyways, she finishes her speech. The press guy goes and get her and says, I have someone you need to meet. He brings her over to me. I immediately start crying. I'm holding her hands, and she's crying because I told her, everything you just said about Carol Burnett is the way that I feel about you. And then she started crying, and she hugged me, and we're both crying. It's a funny picture. I'll show you later.
You have a picture? Perfect.
Because the press took a picture. And so, anyways,
awesome.
That's the preface to the story, where my mom surprised me with tickets to a Kristen Chenoweth concert when she had a big tour. So we drove to go see the concert, and they were front row tickets, because she had a Groupon. She had a Groupon for it for some reason. So we got front row. And it was weird because we got there and everyone was old. Like everybody.
Interesting.
Everybody had gray hair. It was weird.
Except for you.
Except me and my mom. And we were
helped you stand out, didn't it?
Yeah, we were like, what is with all these old people? Why is there no kid in sight? Anyways,
I would think the target demographic for like a Kristen Chenoweth concert would be at least like 40, 50, like not completely gray-haired people.
Yeah, but also there's so many like theater-loving kids. I just would think there would be more of me. Yes!
There's so many theater-loving kids.
Well, whatever. Maybe not. But
all the theater kids.
But so anyways.
I don't want to go to that concert.
Anyways, she's doing all her songs. It's beautiful, wonderful. We're all clapping. And then she says, all right, I'm going to do my next song is just for my young fans. Are any of you here? Because she knows too.
Oh, that's sad.
And I stand up.
Yes!
I stand up and went, wow! And she looked at me and she went, I know you. And then everyone was looking at me like, and she said, you were at my birthday. Which is the best way she could have possibly said.
Because now everyone thinks you're tight with Kristen.
Now everyone thinks I'm best friends with Kristen Chenoweth, and I am, if anyone asks. Kristen,
can we get
my
her
bestie.
Can we get her on the podcast?
Yes.
You have it in with her.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Kristen, or Miss Chenoweth, here's the thing.
Thank you. You don't know her like
after we can fit you in after Danny DeVito, before Jack Black. That's okay. That has to be what it has to be.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Sorry, but you get it.
Yeah, no, but we will work with everyone's schedules. We're flexible.
Right.
But yeah. So
we got a panel going.
Yes, I like this idea. But the song was called Taylor the Latte Boy, which is a song from it's about a girl who's in love with a barista at Starbucks.
Okay.
So it's
say that word.
Barista. Starbucks. Which one?
Barista.
How do you say it?
Barista.
Probably barista. No, I say barista.
Do you say quesadilla or something?
What?
Like what? Like do you just like pronounce it as an American would pronounce words?
Sorry.
What's
barista.
wrong? Do you say taco?
Oh my god. But so So it's a song just for her young
That's
fans.
awesome.
Yeah, and so it was great, and so I'm tight with Kristen Chenoweth.
Right,
I just wanted to tell that story. I'm sorry it took so long.
No, it's fine. Listen, I am upset because I cannot say I have met a person who you could quantifiably consider famous, even a little bit. I have met people of like underground bands I like. I've met podcasters I like, but I have not met like someone who you'd be like if I told you their name, you'd be like, oh yeah, in any capacity. But I'm gonna make it happen.
Okay.
I don't know how.
With this podcast. This podcast is how.
Exactly. You can't be there for those episodes though. I have to have some famous person that you haven't met.
So they'll replace me on an episode where I'm sick.
Exactly.
Okay.
You don't even have to be sick. Hey, if you're not gonna take a day off, we're gonna hang out in your house, but like take a day off.
Okay. All right. Do you have a story you want to read, or?
How long have we been going? Check.
Well, I was hoping that it would move, and then it didn't. About an hour. But this was recording.
Yeah. Okay. I can find one.
I can rapid fire say these while you say that.
Well, no.
I thought you didn't have it up. I thought you were finding it.
This is a concert story because I looked up on Reddit like what are some interesting concert stories, and it was I was at a Jagged Edge concert. So Jagged Edge is like an R&B rap group. I was at a Jagged Edge concert and I screamed, "I love you, Jagged Edge!" And my boyfriend got mad and tells me that I embarrassed him and that I'm acting like a groupie. I love you. Hey, tone it down. You're embarrassing me in front of Jagged Edge. She's just trying to have a good time, and he's just. And this post was an AITA like, am I in the wrong here? And I was like,
no.
For screaming, "I love you, Jagged Edge." Not even a person, just a group.
That's annoying.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I love you, Michael Jackson. Hey, you love one man.
That's funny.
So I thought that was funny because it's like, imagine getting like offended by that.
Yeah.
But so I also looked up like what are some live acts that you were really excited about but turned out to be horrible live. And a lot of people said Bob Dylan. A lot of people said Bob Dylan is awful live. Huh. So I have heard this, and I've heard that what he'll do is he'll change up the songs. So it's like you won't he'll rearrange them to the point where you're like, what song is this? And they'll get to the chorus, you're like, oh. You know, that kind of thing. So he'll like change it up to make it fresh for himself, which I understand, but like, wow. And apparently they said Bob Dylan's very, very, very bad live. 30 Seconds to Mars is awful live.
I've heard that.
Is Jared Leto?
I don't. What? No.
Is he not the guy in 30 Seconds to Mars?
I don't think so.
I think it is Jared Leto.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I never knew that.
Because I remember people, because he's just an awful person. But no, not 30 Second Timer. But apparently he is very, very, very bad live. Yeah.
Oh, I never knew that. That's funny.
Yeah, that was gonna say.
Like
I was
the actor?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't think that's how he got to start, but like so apparently 30 Seconds to Mars is pretty awful live, and his voice is pretty horrible live, and of course he's also just not a good person, so that doesn't help.
Yeah.
The Gorillaz say that they sound awful live, which is surprising to me. I don't know. Yeah. So Blink-182 sounds awful live, and I've heard them live. And they're pretty rough live. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, what bands? Because have you ever looked up like a live rendition of a song? You're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to think bands I like this metal band called Dragon Force. Oh my god, they sound awful live. Like even the guitar parts are like, that sounds rough.
Yeah.
Hold on.
What are you? All right.
I was fixing. She told me I had to fix my hair.
You did, and then it's perfect. Interesting though. I haven't really been to a concert where they sounded terrible. Yeah. And actually, one I was really surprised by. Do you know who? I would hope you do. Do you know who Tony Bennett is?
I know the name.
Okay. I went to a Tony Bennett concert. It was one of his last tours. He's still alive, but I assume he doesn't tour anymore. He was 87 years old, and he sounded amazing.
That's cool.
He and the last song, he put the mic down and just like sang, and it was beautiful. And I went with my grandparents, so my Nana, Papa, and I all went to see Tony Bennett.
That's awesome.
It was incredible. It was
really
incredible.
Cool.
I've also seen Smokey Robinson. That was neat. He was really good.
Okay.
I don't have anything notable about it, but it was really cool. I saw. Do you know Steve Martin, right? The actor.
Yeah.
Do you know that he has a banjo band?
I do now.
He has a banjo band, and he sings and plays the banjo, and it's like a legit band.
Interesting.
And I saw them at the Hollywood Bowl on 4th of July.
You're saying a lot of terms I don't know. But that's cool.
Yeah, but that was really cool. I went to a Carrie Underwood concert. I already told you, but I'm gonna say it again. She had these weird like tubes of fire.
That was Carrie Underwood?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the other girl.
No, because it was her like Renegade tour, Renegade Runaway or whatever. Okay. And so they had like the thing. What are they called? The things
the little
outside
inflatable
of,
tube man. Things.
Yeah, the little inflatable tube man things. It looked like that, but filled with fire. So it just went.
That's
with fire.
awesome.
It was very cool. So hers was really cool. I went to still see Selena Gomez, and the problem is that I completely forgot that I went to see Selena Gomez. So I don't know if it was like very good or not because I just don't really remember it.
Right.
And I should because I was 13. Like it's not like I saw her when I was
right.
I should remember that.
Right.
And I remember going. I just don't really remember the concert. Mm-hmm. And then the last one that I have to mention is that I saw Taylor Swift. It was my second
when was
concert.
This?
2008 or 9.
Okay, I was gonna say because like. I just want to specify that this was not recently.
No.
Right.
This was when you could get tickets. Actually, right. I got tickets for an Olympic gymnast. An Olympic gymnast. It's a long story, but there's an Olympic gymnast who like needed tickets to the concert, and I had an extra ticket. I swear, it's a real story. And I had an extra ticket, and she posted about wanting a ticket, and my mom was like, "Hey, Olympic gymnast, we have a ticket." And so I met her at the Taylor Swift concert to give her a ticket to the concert. It was a whole weird thing.
Interesting.
But the best
I like
part...
how the word choice was she needed a ticket. Yeah, she had to go to this concert.
I think like a group of hers was going, but then like her ticket didn't work or something. I don't remember. Okay. I was 9. But the coolest thing in that concert was, Taylor Swift is like known for like her hair flip, I think.
Okay.
Like she flips her hair really big when she sings, and it's awesome.
Right.
And she was singing the song Should Have Said No. Before we started this podcast today, I played a lot of Taylor Swift and One Direction songs for Thomas, so thank you for being here. But I played You Should Have Said No, and I said that it was a song that made me feel really passionate.
Right.
I was like, you should have said no, and I was 9 years old, just
right.
like
of
totally
course,
relating.
Yeah.
So she had it rain on stage, and in the rain,
what?
Yeah,
like actual water.
Yeah, and in the rain, they spelled out the word no, so it would fall in the pattern of no.
Oh, okay.
And it was the coolest thing
like,
in the world.
This is peak.
Yeah.
This is peak performance.
No, it is something I'm not gonna forget.
Sure.
Just the word no falling in the rain as Taylor Swift sang, and I was like, you should have said no. It was great.
To be fair, I
got really embarrassed at that concert because we were sitting down watching, and then she was playing a song I liked, so I stood up and I was dancing, and I didn't know that the seats went back up. And so I went to sit back down, but the seat had already folded, and I went and hit my head on the chair.
That's funny.
I got back up and kept dancing.
To be fair, the thing that I will never forget is that Blink-182 has a giant like flaming F word on their screen or in their background at all times at all of their concerts.
Nice.
And it was very, in my little small southern town, it was a very big deal.
Oh,
when
really?
They did that. It was a very big deal.
Wow. So what is a concert, I know we already talked about it a little bit, what is a concert you would really, really want to see besides Bruno Mars?
Because Bruno Mars would be great.
Yeah, Bruno Mars for sure.
Because like, in my opinion, this is probably controversial for my sports fans out there. In my opinion, the best, I would say, unless, to be fair, I haven't watched all of them, but of the ones I've watched, the best Super Bowl halftime show ever.
Oh, it was really good.
I would say it's my favorite Super Bowl.
It was
halftime
with
show
Beyonce
ever.
though, right? It wasn't just him.
No, he came back.
He had one by himself.
Yes, he had one by himself. He had one by himself. I'm pretty sure that was the Ravens, 49ers. But then he came back with Beyonce, Coldplay.
Yes, that's the one I remember.
But it was supposed to be Coldplay. But then people were like, Coldplay? So then they added Beyonce in.
Yeah.
And
it was a great show.
Yeah, and it was a great show, and Coldplay didn't need to be there. I don't like Coldplay. I don't mind Coldplay, but they're not a Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah.
Like Lady Gaga's Super Bowl halftime show. Rihanna's Super Bowl halftime show.
Rihanna, I just want to say...
I still haven't watched it.
I haven't watched the whole thing, but I've watched clips, and I think she sounded amazing. I think she sounded great. So,
okay.
So good for Rihanna.
And I mean, they do pre-record, which is fine.
Yeah.
Like I don't... Oh, they pre-record... Who cares? But what's the one... So if I had to choose, I mean, Bruno Mars, I would love to see Lady Gaga in concert.
Yeah,
I think she's fantastic in concert.
I would love to see Lady Gaga.
I'm thinking like metal bands are like... Apparently Iron Maiden's fantastic in real life, even though they're all ancient now. But like apparently Iron Maiden's still fantastic live, and they're very theatrical. And he always comes out in like wearing his little military uniform and has a thing.
Yeah.
Just once, I'd sit in the back, but just once I want to see a Gwar show. So if anyone listens to metal, Gwar is very famous because they employ I think they're from like Pittsburgh, and they employ like the Pittsburgh College or the Pittsburgh University like School of Art to make costumes for them, because in their thing, they're a metal band, but they're playing out this like weird monster. They're all monsters and like aliens and stuff like that. So they'll all dress up as like aliens. Look up if you just for effect, look up. So they'll dress up as monsters and aliens and stuff like that, and they'll get the Pittsburgh.
I don't know how to spell the word that you're saying.
GWAR.
GWAR.
It stands for God, what awful racket.
Oh, cool. Whoa!
So they'll dress up as like monsters and stuff.
Oh, they are cool.
And they all have characters and stuff like that. But so what they'll do...
That's awesome.
...is that it gets... Depending on what show they're in, if they're in a show by themselves, they'll go nuts. If they're at a festival, they'll tone it down. But they will do theatrical stuff, like they'll kill each other on stage, and then... It's a show that you wear stuff that you don't mind getting dirty, because what they'll do is they'll like kill a character on stage, and they'll have like fake blood splatter throughout the entire audience and stuff like that, and they'll like throw up on the audience. Not through action, but they'll like do fake stuff all for the audience.
Wow.
Stuff like that. So just once
for the experience
with a hat and like a clothes I don't care about, I'd want to go because it seems really awesome. I wouldn't sit in the front, but I'd want to go to that one.
Yeah.
Because that'd be cool. I don't love their music, but I'd want to go to that one.
No, for sure. It's the experience. I would really, really, really want to see Pink live.
Pink would be cool. That's a good answer. Can I steal that?
No, we can share it.
We go to Pink together.
Let's go.
Pink if you're... No.
No, because she does like acrobatics. She sings while
really?
like flipping and she flies
does.
through the air. It's the coolest thing in the whole world. And she released a new song and I listened to it. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but I cried. I haven't finished it yet because I started crying and I was like, okay, we'll listen to it later. But so her new album's gonna be great. Her new tour is gonna be great. And then also I know it's not like as entertaining of a show, but I would love to see Adele live because
that'd be a different vibe.
But it's just so beautiful. I would cry for sure, so much. but it would just be beautiful, and I would like that a lot. So in terms of like big singers, those are two.
Yeah, no, and those are good answers. So if you guys are in the comments of YouTube or Spotify, I don't know if we still have
Spotify has comments up,
but so be sure to let us know what concerts you have been to, your favorite concerts, what concerts you really want to go to, and we will hook you up with tickets. No, but
sponsored by No.
Otherwise, do we have any final thoughts on concerts and going to concerts?
My final thought is we need to go to a concert together. Like I know that we don't have entirely the same music taste exactly, but like
we've been to that. We went to that one sort of concert at that like equestrian center. Do you remember that?
No, that doesn't count.
That was fun.
Yes, and that's one of our best selfies that we've ever taken is from that.
Yes, and I looked very different.
Yeah, but that's
and I felt so underdressed. So just super short. You were invited to take pictures at like an event that our university was hosting. And you had an extra ticket, so you're like, oh, do you just want to come and we'll get free food? The food was horrible.
Well, my God.
Because it was a buffet, but there were flies all over it.
Because the theme was barbecue buffet and oysters. Which is just weird.
We both had oysters for the first time.
Yeah, and I didn't know it was your first time.
But the barbecue was gross because there's flies all over it.
Yeah.
They didn't really care.
Anyways. I do think though that you were one of the only people in the world that could get me to try an oyster. So congratulations.
Yes. So we were and then you had an extra ticket. So you're like, oh, do you just want to come to this event? So we're watching this, and then you took a few pictures, I
Yeah.
think, and then we just watched like this band do covers and stuff.
Yeah,
Like that. They're very
they
good.
were great. It was fun.
So that was fun. But
yeah, but that doesn't count as a concert. We need to go to a concert together. That's
no,
my
for
final
sure.
thought.
And my final thought is I don't have a final thought.
That's okay.
But
We've
if
had a lot
well,
of
my final thought is if you guys have any concerts you would like to share, any funny stories, be sure to either text us, message us, or message us on YouTube at Bearly Bearable Besties or Instagram at Bearly Bearable Besties. But for now, we will see you guys whenever we see you guys. Have a good week. I'm Thomas.
We need an outro.
I'm Thomas.
I'm Bianca.
Bye.
And thank you for listening to...
And thank you for listening to Bearly
Bearly
Bearable
Bearable
Besties.
Besties.
Bye. You don't even know the words.
Yeah,
You don't even know the words.
Days,
You don't even know the words.
days of you.